Hey guys, and welcome to our Week 14 segment of Kick-Ass Suck-Ass, where we discuss which players you might want to consider playing and which ones you might want to look at sitting this week.
Now, as usual, we're going to detail more starts and sits on our blog, and I'll put the link down below when it's ready. But to kick things off, we just want to give you a quick recap of who you should start and sit. And I think the quarterback of the week is going to be Russell Wilson. Now, Russell Wilson only threw for 236 yards and 1 touchdown last game, but he's got an easier matchup against Philly, and I think he's going to up his production.
So I would look at him. For me, I'm going to say play Trey Mason. He had an unbelievable game last week against the Raiders. He had 14 carries for 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's up against the Redskins this week. They're a little bit tough against the run, but he's coming off of a very strong momentum, so I would go for it.
Now, wide receiver that surprised everyone last week was DeAndre Hopkins. It's going to be hard for him to match that 238-yard game with 2 touchdowns, but I think he's got a good chance of at least doing a higher amount of production than he's usually done this week. They're up against Jacksonville, which isn't exactly the greatest team this year, but I don't know if he's going to have that same amazing game he had last week, but I think he's going to do decently well, and he's going to give you that playoff push you need.
So if you're looking for a tight end, you might want to look at Jason Witten. He didn't have a very good game last week. He only had 1 reception for 8 yards. Not numbers you really want to look at, but they are playing the Bears this week, and that is a team that gives up a lot of points for tight ends. So I think he'll do a little bit better this week. So now for our suck-asses. These are players that you might want to consider sitting. I'm going to say maybe sit Matt Ryan this week. They're up against the Packers at Lambeau. They're very, very tough. They don't have a great record on the road. I don't know that you want to be playing him this week with the playoffs. Another player you might want to consider sitting, Doug Martin. He had a really solid game last week. He carried for 58 yards and 1 touchdown, but this week he's up against the Lions, and we all saw what happened to my dear Matt Forte when he played the Lions. So I don't know that our friend Doug's going to fare so well either.
Now, you want to be sure of your decisions, and what you don't want to do is start a wide receiver like Brandon Marshall this week. He's up against Dallas, which is really hard against wide receivers. Last week, he only had 6 receptions for 42 yards, and I don't know, I feel like he's really good friends with Cutler, but the chemistry's just not there, and I'm worried it's just not going to be there when you need it against Dallas. As for a tight end that you might consider sitting, last week I said Owen Daniels, and this week I'm saying Owen Daniels again. Like, his production numbers are just not there. Last week he went 2 receptions for only 30 yards, and he's up against actually a pretty tough defense against tight ends, Miami. So you're probably not going to get the production you need. You might want to look on the waiver wire for someone else and gamble big. You need that push to get to the playoffs.
So if you have any more questions or any other curiosities, check out our blog. Like we said earlier, we detail it a little bit more.
Link down below.
Tweet at us if you have any questions. We'll try to get back to you. And
good luck.
Good luck. We'll see you next week.